Welcome everyone to another episode of Two Men No Hope. I'm Daniel Say, and back from his holiday, and still as pale as ever is Jamie Maltman. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
And we brought a guest with us. Yeah, Jamie's guest. I'll let you introduce him, James. You sorted it out. I did nothing.
This is Chuck. He's come over from the USA again, another guest from the US. Yeah. He's from the world of Tell 'em Steve Dave. He's a fellow podcaster. He's a show writer. Is that the best way to put it?
I mean, I'm a filmmaker, and so I do a lot of the video projects to Tell 'em Steve Dave, and I'm the producer on the podcast Tuesdays with Stories with Mark Norman and Joe List, two comics, and mostly filmmaking, and then I do my own podcast, Fun Bearable. So podcasting, filmmaking, stumbling through life with no idea what's happening next, that kind of stuff.
Busy, because we Jamie tells me that Tell 'em Steve Dave were moaning, saying they could never get hold of you, and then here you are in Oz.
They always do say that. They do say, like, I don't know, Chuck's really busy. Especially Quinn. Have you noticed that? He always says, like...
Yeah, he always says... a little too Hollywood for him now.
Yeah, that's right. He does say that. We have a meeting coming up next week, me and Quinn, and I'm very excited for it, so hopefully that'll go well.
Yeah,
so
let's hope.
We're coming for Tell 'em Steve Dave. We're taking all their guests. We've got Brian on. He works with them. That's it.
Can I ask you guys an interesting question?
Sure.
Tell 'em Steve Dave, they have so many fans from the UK. Don't you feel like that? It's so strange.
Yeah. With they were actually the first podcast I listened to. Mm-hmm. And then me and my brother were both into them, and that's what got us into podcasting at the beginning. And then the more people that I've spoke to about podcasting, everyone is a TSD fan.
Yeah,
Majority.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
actually,
the way that British following.
The way that I started filming for them was that they were doing the live Gramercy show in 2016, and I kept seeing all these posts online that people were actually flying in from England to go to this show. And there was no plans for them to film it or anything. And so I kind of pushed my way in the door because I thought that was insane. But yeah, I was like, people are coming from other countries to do this. You guys should be documenting this. And luckily we did. But yeah, it's always been interesting. It seems like there's a lot of people around the world that listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave, and it's just interesting because I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm in the world of podcasting, and to me, they're the ones that really have listeners from all over the place.
Yeah, it's a big mix of people, I always think, as well.
For sure.
Yeah. I personally haven't listened to him yet. It's like
Tell 'em Steve Dave, really?
Yeah, no, I because of doing this, and then I work quite long hours, I only get like a certain amount of time to listen to a podcast. So I normally listen to ones about food or like celebrity interviews, which I listened to your episode with Jason Lee when you did
that was...
Oh, I love that guy so much. So I was like, as soon as I saw you had him in an episode, I was like, stick that one straight away.
Yeah, that was crazy. He was so nice. We were doing it. I was moderating for his panel with Ethan Suplee, I guess, at Rhode Island Comic Con, and I just found out. I think I'm going to be moderating for Joey Lauren Adams from Chasing Amy at a con in like 2 weeks, which would be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. How'd you get into something like that? Like I just assumed that the panels were people from the actual venue, not like an outside sort of source.
I think that basically as cons, like conventions, like pop culture conventions, comic conventions, as they've grown, I think that they probably have teamed up with a lot of different people who do podcasts and interviews. I'm also a journalist. Like I write for a lot of magazines in Rhode Island about the food scene here. So I had that kind of background, and I had the podcast background and a live comedy background from doing live comedy with my buddy Brad. We do live two-man shows, and the people at the cons that we reached out to were kind of like, oh, this person might be able to handle some of this stuff. So I was just like, let's start trying to moderate at cons. And so we just started putting together like a bio email and sending out. And honestly, I don't know, like, if there was a changeover of when podcasting got big and when these cons started getting podcasters to do it. But it seems pretty common now. but we've been working with the same company. It's Altered Reality that does the Rhode Island Comic Con that we do, and the other ones that we're working on right now. We've been working with them for like 6 years or something like that, and it's been an awesome partnership. But we just kind of fell into it. Like I was like, why don't we just do this? I didn't even know if we could. That's kind of my thing. Is I like to be like, hey, there's no reason I should be doing this. What do you think? Can I do it? And people are like, I guess so. That's how Tell 'em Steve Dave worked. You know what I mean? They were like, they had no plans to film it, and I'm just like, you guys should be filming it. I'll meet you there. And they're like, I guess okay. You know?
Amazing. That's the
How
best.
was
sort of
it getting Walt on the screen for the first time? Was he awkward or was he okay? Because I know he doesn't like it.
I know. I mean, it's funny because I didn't know Walt at all at the time, but I had heard him talk on the podcast about how he doesn't like to do live episodes. And he still feels that way. Like all the time, Brian's bringing up like, oh, we could do this, so we could do this. And he's totally not down. I don't know how they got him to do that original one. But they did a small tour at that time, I think, too, right?
Yeah,
like
they did
like
yeah.
with Kevin.
Him off.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how they got him to do it at the time. Maybe he wasn't sure if he'd like it, and that confirmed that he doesn't. But I mean, it's funny. Like, so with the podcast, the podcast I produce, Tuesdays with Stories, we just did a live episode at the Gramercy in New York, which is the same place that I filmed for Tell 'em Steve Dave. And there were a lot of comments on YouTube that are like, live podcasts suck. Like, they're not as good as the regular podcast. And there is a difference of like, in a podcast setting, you feel comfortable talking to people and having fun conversations. And in a live setting, there is this weird pressure of like, I got to come up with like a punchline right now to make everyone laugh. And it does kind of change the feeling of what it is.
Yeah, I suppose because with a normal podcast, you can chop it and make it feel a lot more like a lot of the time when I'm editing, I'll do a lot of fumbling and bumbling in the actual real life, but then when it actually comes to the episode, I sound like smooth as anything.
Yeah. Well, I think that when you're podcasting, if you talk for a minute and there's no laughs, it's okay because you're having a conversation. But live on stage, that feels weird. It feels weird to just talk for a little bit. You know?
I was thinking about that today because I was thinking to myself like, oh, how can we get the podcast like seen more and stuff like that? And I was like, oh, I live quite near Edinburgh. I was like, there's loads of like open mics I should do, but I know full well that I'd get up, I'd go like bright red like a fucking tomato, and then I'd just forget everything, and I would just stand there like deer in headlights, and I'm like, nah, that's not hiding the
That might
symbol
bring
of the
some attention to the podcast.
Yeah.
Film it, put it on the podcast, and comment on the set.
Fuck yeah, I just couldn't. Oh man, I don't know how people do it. Like I listened to Bad Friends with Bobby Lee
Santino,
and he says every time he's like, oh, when I go on stage, it's shit. He's like, every time it's shit, and he's like, I don't care when I come off stage and everyone says how good it went and how funny I was. It was shit. I hated it. It was terrible, and everyone's just like, but he's the funniest fucking guy, and I'm like, oh, maybe it won't be that bad.
Yeah. Well, it's such a different skill, the idea of doing stand-up and podcasting. I mean, even that's one of the reasons that I gravitate towards two-man live comedy shows, because I feel like I prefer a dialogue and I prefer a back and forth and that kind of build. But the idea of going on with a singular voice and being like, I'm going to come up with my own, viewpoints and punchlines and all that stuff. It's a lot more difficult for me to wrap my head around that,
Yeah, definitely.
I'd rather have someone to jump off of.
Yeah, we spoke about that because a listener actually asked us, would we ever do like live stand-up? And we both said that there's no way. We're both comedic by like what we've done. We're like a story-based comedy. It's not. We don't make anything up. It's because we're both idiots that it's funny because we've done these things. And so we can't understand how people come up with like their routines and that, and it's just like it just baffles me. I can't even get my head around it.
I used to do stand-up with my buddy Brad. We kind of were like, let's try stand-up together, and we did it together, and we would help each other write. And it is tough, and like I said, I work with a lot of stand-ups, and I mean, even right now, like we're working on this show that we're doing pretty soon, where the bit is that My buddy Brad is like a terrible artist. It's disgusting. Like, it could be a hate crime. You know, before this, he said nothing racial. This is worse. If we showed one of his drawings here, you'd have to blur it out just for no reason, just because it's so despicable. You'd have new rules on your bike. No racism, no Brad drawings. They're so bad. And what we do is he'll draw every scene from a movie, and I'll take what those drawings look like to me, and I'll write a new narration of the movie. And so we'll go to a comedy club, and we'll headline the comedy club with that as a bit. So we're going to do Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Bradley Drawn. That's the name of the show, is Bradley Drawn.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's actually, it's tough what you're talking about. It's tough even looking page to page, because I'm like, okay, this looks like shit, this looks like shit, and like, here's a little joke. But like, what can we do to make this funny? Because we do want this to have a lot of different types of humor. We can't just be making fun of the drawings the whole time.
Yeah.
And one of the things in it, in the bit, is that Brad is the one that has to read my narration. So I write it in his voice. So there's a lot of jokes about Brad that build and kind of repeat and get bigger throughout the whole show. And it's the same thing, though, where you're just kind of like, you're looking at that blank page and that cursor is blinking, and you're like, I don't know where the hell to go. I think the answer is just like what we call word vomit, where you just like write, because we know this isn't going to end up in it. No stakes, no bad ideas, and you just like, you know, type, and let whatever come out and see where it brings you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's got to be the way to do it.
Yeah.
I was listening to your last episode on From Bearable, and you brought out Dr. Genius, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Brilliant Notions with Dr. Genius.
And basically, Dan, he was like pitching ideas to the other co-hosts on like things to do in the future for like the podcast and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Even inventions.
Yeah, just general things, and it was absolutely hilarious from start to finish. And that's all I was thinking of as you was talking there. I was thinking, I wonder whether this come up in one of them.
Oh man, I love that stuff. I mean, I think that the heart of comedy is someone doing something the wrong way, or interpreting something the wrong way, or looking at something the wrong way. That's always going to be the heart of comedy. Even stand up, it's going to be saying, okay, everyone knows about this thing. Here's my take on it. Whether the comedian on stage is looking at it the wrong way, or they're saying the world is looking at it the wrong way. Comedy is always about doing the wrong thing, to me. And you can have like a dumb character saying stuff and a straight man or whatever. But yeah, Brilliant Notions with Dr. Genius. I came up with a couple ideas that I knew were terrible. And my buddy Ray, who is my co-host, one of my co-hosts, Ray Harrington, there's no one that like cuts me up and makes fun of me better than Ray. Is the funniest thing in the world. And just seriously, like, throwing him bad ideas is like, you know, he's Babe Ruth, and we're teeing him up with like a little softball toss. And yeah, like, one of my ideas was a translation burrito. Like, if you go to Mexico and you don't know how to speak Spanish and you don't want to be embarrassed and have everyone know you're a tourist, it's this device that fits inside a tortilla, and you speak into it, and it translates it into Spanish. And that's a translation burrito. And I'm like, here's my, you know, and I'm just bringing my inventions and my ideas to Ray and Brad, and man, they hate them.
Oh, I have to go listen now. We did a little bit like that, but in a more like we did the. Do you know who Jimmy Savile is?
Oh God,
yeah.
We're not going down.
I'm not. I know. So I was saying about terrible toys that could be invented that would be fine when he was alive, but would be terribly inappropriate now. So one of my best ones was Tickle Me Savile. So it'd be like Tickle Me Elmo, but it's Jimmy Savile when you tickle it. Yeah, I'm not going to go into more on that. But
that was like episode 3.
Yeah,
I love it. I love stuff like that.
I got a lot of people saying that I should have cut it, and we left it in, and everyone, no one's even mentioned it. So that's fine. I got away with it.
I think we got away with it.
Yeah,
Hopefully that doesn't really highlight it though.
Yeah, it's gone
That's
back
hilarious.
Again.
That's great.
Oh, while we got an American on, did you have you been following the stuff with Bud Light?
Yeah, I have.
I was laughing this morning because Delaney or whatever her name is has now come out as a lesbian.
Oh boy.
So she's basically it's a man now in a dress because he was gay, and now he's a trans woman, and now he's a lesbian. So
was he gay before?
He was he was gay before.
He was a gay man, then trans, now
Yeah.
a gay woman, right?
Yeah, which makes him
That's pretty.
a man.
I mean, that's pretty fun. You're kind of very experienced. Like that person has way more experience from every direction than any
That's
other
like
human on the
full
face
circle,
of the earth.
isn't it? Like you've made your
pretty
way
good.
back.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
I
like
just had
traveling
this-
to every country.
I just had this image of the next thing when he or she, whatever he is now, comes out. He's gonna look like Randy Savage, like he's just gonna pump himself full of like testosterone, and he's just gonna be like roided up, and then he's gonna come out and be like, like fucking screaming because he's gone full circle.
My buddy Ray actually had an awesome take because you know how people use the term virtue signaling.
Virtue signaling. I've never heard that before.
No.
You never heard that before?
No.
No.
Virtue signaling is typically used for like when someone is very progressive and they post something online and they say something like, I think it's so beautiful that blank, blank, blank. And they're just kind of like, they're basically like saying a positive thing about a progressive thing. And a lot of like right-wing people use the term virtue signaling to like kind of say like, oh, you're just kind of like basically in a really false way taking your ideals and putting them out there just for everyone to clap for you. And Ray was like, there's no bigger version of virtue signaling than Chris Rock taking a machine gun and shooting those Bud Light cans. Like, that's a good definition of virtue signaling, if anything is. So funny.
That was so good. I thought
Yeah.
that was fake when I first saw it, and I was like, oh no, that definitely is him, yeah. Like, fuck me. So good. But how'd you go from... Do you remember the old advert for Bud Light with Van Damme?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's in like the mountains in the snow in like flip-flops or so, yeah. That was fucking
Oh,
great.
that's Coors Light, isn't it? That's not Bud Light.
Was
That's
that?
Coors Light.
I thought it was Bud Light.
Yeah.
See, if we're talking Bud, we're talking the Toads, right?
Yeah,
The
that's what I'm
Budweiser
thinking.
Toads and the
I thought
ferrets.
I thought that was Budweiser, the Toads. It was
Yeah.
Bud.
Well, Budweiser
Yeah.
is Bud Light. Budweiser is the main beer, and Bud Light is their light version.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't drink either, so... I especially don't anymore, but yeah, so that's why. I used to love that advert with the... That was like the old sausage advert. I don't suppose you got that in America, the Wall sausages.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it was a guy talking to his dog, and he was like, say sausages, and the dog was going like, Walls. So no, sausages. Walls. I'll see if I can find it.
That is such a British reference. That is.
Yeah. It makes
like
me feel really old as well. Like fucking, that must have come out when I was a kid. Absolutely.
That's funny. No, I love
Adverts
the
aren't
the Budweiser frogs and the ferrets. Those are the best.
Yeah. Adverts aren't like that anymore. They're really crap. Like half the time you don't even know what they are. You know, and you're just watching it and waiting.
I love him. I feel like back in like the late '90s or mid '90s, companies used to be like, we have an advertising budget. Let's give some of the money to someone like weird with a specific like idea, and they'll come up with something that's kind of funny and quirky that might grab people's attention. There's a sandwich chain in the United States that doesn't really exist anymore called Quiznos. I don't know if you guys had
Oh,
that.
I used to love
I've
Quiznos.
heard of it. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Quiznos.
Yeah.
But they had the Quiznos, these little like hamster characters that would sing during the commercials. Have you ever seen these commercials? Oh, look them up. They're fucking bizarre, and they're just like they're pitched up like Alvin and the Chipmunks, like it's someone singing, and they took his voice and they made the pitch way higher, and they just like sing these really simple songs about Quiznos, and they're super funny, they're super quirky. They're bizarre, and I'm like, I missed that time in advertising. That's fun. I like weird stuff like that. That's funny.
Those
there
ones
used to
are
be
always the
loads of
ones.
stuff like that.
There was an advert for Mini where it was a guy, was it two old men driving down the countryside, and they had a big fish, and they were slapping people as they drove past with a big fish. Pointless for a Mini car, but it was so funny. I still remember that. It's brilliant. Getting slapped with a
I
fish.
love stuff like that. That's great.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even look at the adverts now because they're fucking pointless.
Yeah.
We're in a streaming world now. I don't think I've seen an advert in about 10 years.
Oh,
That's
hate
tough. Yeah.
So I added an extra email in just purely because it's already happened, and it was mostly for Jamie. So he had listener. So we're from a place called Luton, which is down near London, and this listener says Luton's chances for the Premiership today. How are you guys feeling about it? I don't like Luton, so I'm just going to leave that for Jamie for a couple of minutes, and then we'll move
on. We got in. We're in the Premiership football. First time in 30 years, or it might even be longer than that. They're the only team that's gone right down to the bottom division and come all the way back, all the way to the top, which is near impossible. They got out of Wrexham's league. They're much better.
okay.
Well,
give them a season, they'll be back down.
Next year they're going to get smashed
Yeah.
because there's too many good teams in the Premiership. But it was a good win to take this year. That's what I'm going to say on that, because I'm not even a Luton fan either. So.
No, but he was watching it while I was in Portugal, which is ridiculous. How you found a bar in Portugal playing that?
It was a FA. It was a cup final. All the Irish bars were playing it.
Ridiculous.
I was absolutely smashed watching that.
So we get all sorts of questions, and this listener says, possibly the most boring question ever asked, but I know you guys say any question is acceptable. So I don't know how. Well, you say you do a lot of food stuff. So this listener says, air fryers, are they as much as they're cracked up to be? All my friends are in the mid-30s, like myself, and it seems to be the talking point. Should I buy one? Do you guys have one, and would you recommend it? I fucking love my air fryer.
Everyone loves air fryers. I mean, I don't. So when I was younger, my parents didn't have a toaster. We had a toaster oven. You know.
Oh yeah, we don't.
So it was
get
that
toaster
small
ovens
little
there.
oven thing,
Mhm.
and so that's where you'd heat up like pizza so that it stays crispy and stuff like that. Is an air fryer basically like a toaster oven that's like a little bit better? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I use
Essentially,
mine as a toaster.
Yeah,
So
right.
You can, in an air fryer, you can almost cook everything.
Yeah, cakes. I do meat, burgers, steaks, everything in mine.
Really?
Everything. Yeah.
So, like, I need to get one. Everyone's telling me about it. I went to my friend's house. I had some roasted broccoli. It was delicious. They're like, I put it in my air fryer. And the thing is, I've never seen one, so I'm picturing a fryer. I don't know if there's oil, but I'm sure there's not. But they explained it to me, and it sounds like a toaster oven.
Yeah, it's you can get. We have a company called Ninja. I don't know if it's in.
Yep.
I think it might be in America, and they
We
do loads of different ones. So you have one. They actually do one that is like a toaster oven, that is like a door that swings down, and you put all your tray stuff in it. But normally it's like a bucket with a tray that you pull out. It's just basically like a mini fan oven. That's what it is.
No, I would love that. I got to get one. I know I have to get one. I'm terrible at cooking. You know, I eat out all the time, and I got to get one.
Yeah.
It saved my marriage.
Really?
Yeah. Well, like, I'm so bad at cooking, it's unreal. And the missus absolutely, like, does everything for me. And,
You look like a man baby. I like that.
well, I get told that a lot.
That's brilliant.
Hey, same boat. I need to be taken care of. Someone needs to burp me, change my diaper, put me to bed.
Mate.
I need somebody.
Honestly. Yeah. I remember so every few months Charlotte would give me an ultimatum. She'll be like, "Oh, you got to make sure you cook something tonight or do some dinner this week." And I'll be looking at her thinking, "Fuck me, what am I gonna do?" And now I've got an air fryer. I just marinate some chicken, throw it in the fucking air fryer, do some rice, and I'm done. And that's.
I like that. That's great. No, I got to get one. I love roasted vegetables. I've kind of been on like I don't want to say a health kick, but I'm trying to eat better. I lost like 35 pounds, like just walking and like changing my diet over to vegetables and fruits and stuff
well
like
done,
that.
man.
That's good. 35 pounds.
Yeah, it's like, dude, and all I'm eating is like, I basically eat fresh fruits and I steam broccoli. I'm not even kidding. Every day I steam a ton of broccoli and just eat it. But I should get an air fryer because then I can roast broccoli, all the other stuff, all the other vegetables that I can actually roast with. Because I'm not a huge fan of steamed carrots. I'm not a huge fan of steamed other vegetables. But if it's roasted, I'll eat anything.
It's something you're saying about that because
Yeah.
I saw a clip of a guy on Joe Rogan who was saying that he did the chicken and steamed broccoli diet, and he was said after 2 weeks he stopped snoring, like all his skin cleared up, like he had loads of energy and stuff like this. And I'm like, that's mental. That's actually mental, just from those 2 items.
Oh, honestly, it's weird because like I'm not one of those people that wants to be super extreme where it's like I'll never eat fast food again. I'll never eat this. Like, but I did go where everything that I buy now is vegetable, fruit, protein. I don't buy any like chips or chips to you are French fries, but I mean like potato chips, like crisps, right? I think you call them crisps.
Yeah.
Or like cookies or like snacks. I don't buy any of that stuff. I'm like, if I want a snack, I'm going to eat almonds and strawberries and blueberries. And it's a much more boring life. I want to take my own life every day. I see pizza on the TV and I put a gun under my mouth. But I try to do that most of the time, you know?
Yeah, nice, definitely. What you gonna say?
I can tell because I've just come back from Portugal. I had 10 days of eating and drinking and totally indulging in everything that I shouldn't be indulging in. And
prostitutes, cocaine.
I wish. The difference in my body when I come back was fucking insane. And I was just like, I was sitting on the sofa yesterday, I felt like a beluga whale had just been like pushed into the fucking front room, and someone was like just doused me in water. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So today I went chicken and rice, which is my normal go-to because I'm always on the health kick because I'm overweight. And chicken and rice, bit of broccoli, and I felt much better this afternoon.
Tell me about this Portuguese food. I'm so jealous. I love Portuguese food. I come from a heavy Portuguese population in Rhode Island, in the U.S. And, what did you have in Portugal? Tell me about it.
Portugal,
food.
I think like yeah. Well, I had Japanese food the first night.
First night, yeah.
That's all right. Gotta ease into it.
Because we stay in a place just that's like a bit more rural, where my missus has a villa out there, and it's like grilled meats, basically grilled meats and grilled fish. They put chips and salad with everything. So French fries and salad with everything. Like no matter what you put on the plate or ask for, they will give you chips and salad.
I love the steak with the vinegar and the fried egg and the fried potatoes under it. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, bacana steaks.
Oh my
really good.
God.
And then they do like a piri chicken, which in the UK we have like a really creamy version of that, which is like totally different. Over there they brush it with like piri oil instead, and they grill it. You have like a half a chicken, and that's like their signature dish.
Damn.
And it's banging. They have like loads of chicken shacks about, and I'm just going around eating all the chickens in fucking Portugal.
I like picturing you in like a 2-person convertible, but the next seat is just the chickens from each place. You're just like, I'll just compare them all. I'll take a bite of each. Yeah, I love that. That's great.
My family was taking the piss out of me because they was like, in the daytime I'd be eating chicken and chips. In the evening, it would either be chicken and chips or I'd be eating steak and chips.
Oh.
And then everyone else would be like trying to mix it up and have different like fresh fish and stuff. I was like, no, I'll just have a steak.
Oh, it's too good. I love that vinegar
man.
steak.
Eat what you like.
There's actually a Mexican place near my house, and they do like the typical like burritos and tacos and stuff. But they have a Portuguese steak burrito, and it comes with French fries and vinegar and the steak. It's so good. Peppers and onions. I love it.
Oh man, we ain't
They do this thing as well, which is called a cova. I don't know whether you'd get it over there, which is like you get bread. Instead of a starter, you have like a bread. You have garlicky mushrooms, not mushrooms, carrots in like a garlicky vinaigrette.
Oh yeah.
And then you'd have like a sardine paste and loads of different things like that. It's really odd like combination of foods. But then when you put it all together, it's really good. It's like insanely good.
Wow, that sounds great.
I couldn't imagine you eating that. That sounds like the exact opposite of what you would eat.
Mate, I would surprise you. I would surprise you. I've been going there many years now, so...
That's awesome.
I suppose, yeah. So, yeah, I think the verdict there is to buy an air fryer.
Yeah, I think I'm in. I'm 100. You guys sold. Yeah. You guys should be. You know what? Yeah. Bud Light has the new trans thing. I think the air fryer should get you two guys to start pushing it on people.
Mate, I would
whether that would be good or bad, we don't know. It might go viral.
I'll just use it to make like a man-child. You know what I mean? Fucking chicken nugget and chips. Whack it all in together. Give it a shake. It's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just put me in a nappy in the kitchen.
Your face is on the air fryer, and Kid Rock takes out a machine gun and starts shooting you guys right between the eyes.
I bet he has an air fryer. He seems like a pretty lazy man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does. He does.
Right. So this emailer has emailed before. He wanted to move his family to Dubai because that's where he worked. He come back to the UK. He's now over in Dubai. So he says, so I thought you'd like to know I brought my family to Dubai. We're doing a 7-week trial to see how we get on. The kids are being homeschooled for the time, and the wife is on sabbatical, so it's a long holiday for the family while he's working, unfortunately. My work are enjoying me living out here, and the cookouts with the team have kicked a few times already, so life seems pretty good at the moment. I'd like to thank you and our previous guest that helped him out before. So he says the problem is, so my oldest daughter is 16, and she has made good friends with my colleague's son on the complex. I'm slightly concerned it could end up being more than it should be, as he is 17, and boys are going to be, well, let's face it, dogs at that age. I do not want to be overprotective father, but I also need the boy to know my daughter is not a free-for-all. On top of this, it's a colleague's son, so I cannot be overly aggressive, which is my usual tactic. Always appreciate the help. Oh, that's the problem when you've got a daughter, isn't it? That's the go-to, isn't it?
Wow. That's really tough, man.
It is.
Jesus Christ. I mean, it's funny because it's such an uncomfortable conversation to have in the first place with just a random dude. I mean, I'm the type of person, like, let's say if I had like a daughter and I was like, all right, there's some guy, you know, sniffing around. We gotta have a talk with this guy. I'm not the type of guy to be like overbearing anyway. But like, what do you say? What do you say to a dude like that? Oh, you know, here's what he should say. He should be like, here's what he should do. This is my advice. Go to the kid and be like, I just want to say thank you for dating my daughter. Like, obviously, she has that really extreme gonorrhea thing, and so a lot of people don't want to date her. So I just want to thank you for taking her out and spending time with her, because it's been really hard to find somebody since that happened, especially since they talked about it on the local news, because they've never seen such an extreme strain before. So really, big ups to you. I mean, be careful. You know, wear gloves even when you put your hand on her shoulder. But thank you so much for taking her out. That's the way to go, I think.
So don't worry about
gift him a pair of silk white gloves. Just gift him a pair of silk white gloves as you're doing
And then whenever the son sees you near her, you have to be like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" And like you're standing far away, like you're nervous.
Like you're standing behind her, going like, "Oh no, don't." Get away, get away.
You hold your nose even for some reason.
Yeah, no, if I ever have kids, I've always said that I'd like to have a daughter, but I always make fun of people at work I think a guy's just had one. I'm like, oh, better get that baseball bat ready for when she starts bringing fellas home. But what can you do, really? I mean,
yeah,
back then you could be quite aggressive, but with the way things are going now, if you said anything or did anything, it's like a backlash, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if anything, you push the daughter away if you push too hard. I think maybe do you know? I sent this to you, Dan, when you showed me the email. like the scene from Bad Boys 2 where the boyfriend turns up and they just have like a quiet little intimidation moment at the front door.
Yeah, there's about 8 of them in there, like in the front room.
Yeah.
It's tough because, like, if we're being realistic, if you had a, so do either of you have kids?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
If you had a son, how old are you guys right now?
35.
I'm 31.
Okay, so
Bastard.
let's say you had a son who is like, 17-ish, and he's out there, and let's say he's cool, and he's slaying, and he's got some girls, and are you giving him high fives? Are you psyched for it? I think I would be, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, you would do, yeah.
So that's weird. So we should kind of think that it's okay in the other direction as well, right? Like, that's
Yeah,
the
it
other
should
thing.
be.
It's like, if we're trying to be progressive and stuff like that, it's like, you don't want to make it weird that your daughter is like out there having experiences and dating and doing things too. So it's tough, man. That's really tough.
It is tough, yeah. I think
So give her some high fives.
for slaying it. I think the thing is, though, is that, like, if she gets pregnant, then she's the one that's dealing with it, right? I think that's the opposite. Like, the guy's going out there and he's flinging it about, but if your daughter goes out once and messes about and comes back, that's 18 years of, if she keeps it, which you hope she would do.
That's true.
That's why you're a
I
bit
guess-
sort of.
It's true. You're right.
Yeah, man.
I never thought about it from that perspective, but you're right. Like, if you are dealing with a young woman, I guess you are like, well, if there is a pregnancy thing, like, this guy can just bounce and he's gone, and you're actually stuck with this. That's a tough one. Maybe you do the traditional safe sex talk, and maybe you even bring up this point, like, hey, this guy might be gone tomorrow. You're going to send him a picture of that pregnancy test, and they're going to say, oh, his phone is no longer in service. You know what I mean?
But then they are in Dubai, and everyone over there is like filthy rich. So you just be like, get on it. What I mean, if he knocks it up, put a ring on it.
Yeah, that's true, too. I mean, what are they doing in Dubai? All I know of Dubai is the Fast and Furious movies. They jump from building to building in one of them.
Yeah. There's a lot of sand as well from the Mission Impossible movie when he was over there. They just have loads of money. Isn't it quite a new town as well? Isn't Dubai like a new city it's basically made of money, isn't it?
It was in the 80s. It was like a shell, and now, like, oil money has like built this entire basic like fucking industry over there, and all the influencers and all that go over there. It's a huge thing now. It's
Damn.
huge.
I saw Will Smith was over there because they've got the world's deepest swimming pool. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you have to wear like scuba gear to go down it, and it has like buildings and that in there that you can go and swim through, and then it's got levels where you can sit and have a coffee and watch people swim down this swimming pool. It's fucking crazy, absolutely mental.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. But that's what you do.
If my daughter is banging the kid whose dad owns the world's largest swimming pool, I'm like, I'm stealing her underwear, so she has to go without panties. And I'm just saying, hey, do what you can. Lock this guy into our family.
Get me some free tea. That's what over here, when your kid starts dating someone that works at like an Asda, you're like, get me the discount when you're going in there, please. Oh, is your boyfriend working? So I go,
Yeah, exactly.
that's the money difference of the UK to Dubai, isn't it? Just give me a discount,
funny.
10%. That's
Get
fine.
get a cinema card.
Yeah, free cinemas. Yeah, it's fucking expensive, the cinema. Get me a free one. Yeah, no, I was
That's
thinking
funny.
of like how I would talk to my daughter, because that's what the right thing to do, right? Is to sit her down and have the talk, and say to her, blah blah blah. This is what's going to happen. Use your own judgment. If anything happens, it's your responsibility. It's not mine. If that happens, that's your sort of thing. And then just to trust her. But I was like, how could you? Because everyone, when they talk to their kids, are really awkward, aren't they? Like, it's like, I don't want to talk to my kid about sex. So I was like, how could I? So I was like, what you should say to her is like, so there's going to be guys out there with screwdrivers coming to take off your training wheels of your bike. And once they get them wheels off, you don't want to become a bicycle, because then everyone wants to ride. And some of those screwdrivers are pretty dirty out there as well. So be careful of who you let ride on the old seat, and always wipe it after they've been on it. and then just give her a little pat
yeah,
on
but
the
your
back.
daughter is like, hold on, and she's trying to track the metaphor, but it keeps like, also don't forget you got to blow up the wheels once in a while, oil up the gears, and she's like, what are you talking about?
If you don't wear,
I feel as though your kid's going to be in
protectors,
therapy, Dan.
your chain's gonna sag and things. You know what I mean? It's a slippery road. Yeah.
Chain's gonna sag. That's funny. That's very funny.
So, but yeah, I think, yeah, you just got to trust them. I mean, kids, they grow up quicker now, right? They're in schools, they get taught different things than we did, and you've just got to let them get on their way. And like I said, if it happens, and it's there to deal with.
I do think you can get a good judgment of the guy as well. If you let him get a little bit more involved in something you do, like they say they do cookouts and all that stuff, spend a little time around him and see the judgment of the guy. Because if he's a dickhead, you're going to be able to tell he's a dickhead pretty quickly.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because I was a dickhead and I got sussed a few times by a few dads.
That makes sense. But I see. Here's the thing: is like I'm not a dickhead. I'm very charming. But oh boy, as soon as that dad turns his back, oh my god! So I don't know. I don't even know if that helps.
You start clicking at her like the Predator.
Like I have a little halo around my head, but then when I walk away, you'll see like a devil's tail poking out from behind my pants.
but hopefully that helped. We had a lot of different answers. We will hear from you again because you've emailed quite a lot. So. Enjoy Dubai. Hopefully you enjoy it over there and you stay. And good luck, man. Right. So it says, I'm a very calm person in general, but I'm going on holiday this summer with my girlfriend and her family. Her sister's boyfriend was a bully in school. I'm starting to get concerned about spending an extended amount of time around him. I'm a very different person now. I've been to the gym for 10 years now and I've built up my confidence. In the time I've seen him up to now, he still thinks he's a big bollocks. But he is wrong. I'm not the guy who took shit off him anymore. How should I approach this without upsetting the rest of the family? That's a really good question.
Oh, I have a bully in my life that I do this to, that I deal with.
Oh yeah.
You just big time. I'm like fucking every second you get, you call him a nerd, you make him look dumb, but you do it in that way that's like right on the edge of like, oh, we're just joking around, but like, you know, you slap him in the face a little bit, you give him a noogie, maybe you go choke him out for a second, he loses consciousness. But basically pretend that this is how you joke around with everybody, but really kind of give it to him and make fun of him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to try to rise to the occasion. He's going to try to come back at you. And you just got to keep pushing him. And so, like, if it is a thing where you used to be physically intimidated by him, and now you're no longer physically intimidated, then give him a little elbow, push him around. You know, actually, that's a good idea. Be like, let's play touch football, and then take him out too hard a bunch of times in a row. Maybe like when you go to tackle him, you pinch his nutsack. Like you're like, oh, it was an accident.
You get him underneath the arm, like right underneath the arm. That fucking kills.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because you're on holiday with the family, so they already know what he's like. So you know, what I mean, they're not going to be that. Oh, that's him. So yeah, I agree. Bullies need to be taken down a fucking peg. I don't agree with it. You know what I mean? I never have done.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And then the thing is too, if you do like in realistically, not talking about pinching his testicles against his will, but if you do kind of give him a couple jabs, like, you know, verbally or whatever, and you're kind of like asserting dominance, if he kind of chills out and he's cool, then you guys are cool. Yeah. You know? So you might be able to just achieve that really quick with you giving him some subtle hints that you're not going to take his shit anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because him seeing you do that might actually like make him gain some respect for you pretty quickly, and then it doesn't have to be a fight for the whole holiday that you're away.
Exactly.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, if you back down, it's just.
I would choke slam him in the swimming pool. Like that's the first thing I'd do. I'd be like, "Who wants to play some polo in the swimming pool?" And I'll get hold of him, and make sure he stays under the water for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Give him an ankle lock, maybe the walls of Jericho.
A little flash.
Like, why are you holding me down? I'm like, I'm not holding you down. I've got my hands up. My knees holding him down.
Just when he
You
comes
shake
up
his
for
hand,
air,
you do the thing where you're like, let go of my hand, let go of my hand, let go of my hand. You're just like pulling him closer.
Just be like to him, do you know what that flash was? That was your life because you haven't lived it yet. And if you want to keep on living, mate, you get the fuck out of this pool. Put him on the side. Spill a couple of hot coffees on him. Oh shit, sorry, I tripped and breakfast. Hot coffee over his lap.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that.
There's
Or
one
make everyone breakfast except for him. And just claim as though it's an innocent mistake.
I don't know if the family would take that. They'd be like, that's a bit malicious, isn't it? Bringing everyone else
it's
in.
an innocent mistake, Dan, and then offer your own up to make yourself look good.
There's a prank that I keep seeing on TikTok where people get, you know, the little McDonald's dip-in sauces. They stick a straw in it, and then they put the straw in the Coke, and then they put the lid over the top, so it looks like it's in the drink. And then when they go to drink it, they just get a mouthful of like mayo or like spicy sriracha or something.
That's killer. That's great.
fucking brilliant. Yeah,
That's great. I got to remember that. I got to do that to my buddy Brad.
yeah. Forget that. Forget that,
TikTok,
Jamie,
man.
because that's happening to you when I come down.
I'm not drinking anything with a lid on around Dan.
Come on, take a sip.
you
It's so
won't remember.
good.
Yeah. I'll be like, oh, so refreshing, Jamie. It's so hot today.
Yeah.
Mouth of mayo. But
That's funny.
yeah, no, get it sorted quickly, man. Like I've said previously that I've met a couple bullies from when I was in school, and they just wouldn't leave me alone, trying to be like mates with me and stuff like that, because I wouldn't take shit anymore. So all they're doing is testing you. You know what I mean? They pick on people with low confidence, and when you get it, they're all like, "Oh, let's be best friends" and stuff like that. So it's don't let them push you around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I agree.
Yeah. Knock him out. That's what I would do. Right. Nice, easy one there. So this is one of our OG listeners from like right at the back of the beginning. So this listener first emailed in because he went on his first gay date, and it was an absolute disaster.
Well, is this the guy that lost his tooth?
Yeah, so he was on a date, and all these things happened, but when he got home, he looked in the mirror and realised some of his false teeth had come out. Yeah. So, which is a really good email. But yeah, he's back anyway. So he says, long time no talk. As you can tell, my previous emails, I'm a bisexual male, and I have 2 different sex relationships in this previous email. Well, unfortunately, you guys, neither have worked out. So at the moment, I've blocked and deleted, and I'm working on myself. I do a lot of work away from home at the minute, and working on myself is difficult because I'm not with the family. I seem to seek affection from sex, which puts me in a bad situation every time. And it started again. A guy has come into my life through work. He works as an airline rep. And he thinks it will be something more than just sex, but I can't let him know. I can't get that through to him no matter how much I try. That there's nothing more than sex. How can I let him know that I just want a bit of fun and not a relationship? I enjoy the sex. I don't want it to end. Mile high, innit? That's what that is. That's mile high.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. I deal with this all the time, by the way. And it's funny because it's like, it's a little bit more like I got out of a very long-term relationship. It was like 7 years. And I'm not really ready to jump back into something so serious yet. So you meet someone, you go on a date, you hit it off, good stuff's happening. And then at some point you have to have that conversation of like, hey, I don't know what you're looking for. Because you never know. Someone might be in the same boat as you, and that's great. Or they might be looking for something more, and you want to kind of be honest as quickly as possible. But I think it's a tough step to take, but you just got to say, hey, so what are you looking for, like, in dating? And then they'll say whatever they say. And if this guy says, oh, I'm looking for a boyfriend, I'm looking for a serious relationship, you have the opportunity of saying, like, yeah, I'm really not looking for a relationship right now. I'm just looking to date around and meet people and whatever, and tell him the truth. I mean, as long as you're telling him the truth, if he's just like, I don't believe you or something. That's his problem. You know what I mean? I think you have to be honest with people, especially in a situation like this. But if you are already being honest, I mean, I don't know what else you can do, because it sounds like this guy has already told him, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says no matter how much he tries.
I mean, what are you going to do? You could just. I mean, I will say this: I've gotten in so much trouble over the years dating and having this come up as a thing.
Yeah.
My therapist, I talked to my therapist about it, and she's like, maybe you have to remind, the people you date like once a week that you're not looking for anything serious. So you just got to find ways to bring it up.
Just like the little text were like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Nothing serious. I don't want anything, just a bit of sex. What are you doing? Yeah, free? 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
that was a bit of a weird email. Well, got to let you know, and keep it on the down low.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna find natural ways to just be like, yeah, just having a good day, feeling like I don't want any commitments whatsoever going on in my life. Just thinking about how sure I am of that.
You can make plenty of use of the peach emoji for booty calls, isn't it? That's what you have to do.
Just making sure that's what his name is saved at is in your phone, and take a screenshot so that he can see that.
Oh, wait, that was the previous
That's
email, though.
brilliant, yeah.
That was the previous email where the guy he liked a woman, and he thought it was getting serious, and then he saw his name in her phone was something from his Tinder profile, so we were like, don't worry about it.
Fireman, yeah.
Yeah, the fireman. That's like,
Big dick fireman or something.
Yeah,
man, that's great.
And we were like, don't worry about it, that's just a name. But it works on multiple levels, right? Because sometimes it's like a pet name, and some people just put it in, they don't remember. I'm trying to justify my joke now. Yeah, no, I agree. If you've already told it, like we always say on this podcast, is like, you've got to be honest. Like the easiest way in life and the best thing for your mental health is to be honest. And if you, like you say, if you told him and he's still like, I don't believe you, carry on. If he wants to get hurt, he gets hurt, you know what I mean? It's
tough. I have this conversation with my friends all the time. Like, there was a woman a little while ago, and I was like, yeah, this woman is like hitting on me a lot, and she seems very openly sexual, and I don't know what to do because I'm worried that she wants something more serious than me. But I've been honest with her, like very honest. I'm like, yeah, I'm not ready for anything. I moved to a new state. I'm just focusing on work for now. I'm really focusing on my career. And they're like, yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. And I'm like, hold on. Isn't that kind of backwards thinking? If like a 30-year-old woman is like, that's totally cool. I know you're not interested in anything serious. I just want to be sexually involved. Like me being like, no. You don't know how you feel. You don't trust yourself. You're not able to make this decision is not cool. You just got to be like, hey, I'm being honest with you. We're going to do what we do. And, just keep that honest foot forward. And I think you're okay, right?
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're doing your part, I think that in my single days, which was a long time ago now.
It was last week in Portugal.
So lucky shot listen to this.
You throw me off there. In my single days, there was a lot of girls that thought they could like not change me, but like overcome the fact that I weren't interested in anything long term. Yeah. And like they thought if they plugged away and just stayed in my life long enough, that it would, like, I would change my mind. But I always just had to make it clear that I was doing whatever I wanted. And sometimes I came across as an arsehole, but I was like, it was trying to be doing the right thing in the long term. Yeah. Which I think a lot of them nowadays would say, like, I was honest from the beginning. And I think that's the only thing you can do. It's the only thing you can do.
I think so too. It's a really tough thing. I think what happens probably to a lot of people too is like it's too awkward for them. Like they'll feel like, oh, I know this person is more interested than I am, and it's just too awkward to deal with. But I think that's really where your responsibility comes in, is you got to step over that hump of being awkward and say, hey, like I noticed you're kind of, I think you might be looking at this as more of a serious thing than me. I'm really just looking to date and have fun or whatever, and you got to step over that awkwardness and just make it clear.
And I think as you get older as well, that's easy to do. When you're a younger when you're a much younger person, the awkwardness is there in general, I think. And I think as you get older, like, you become more mature, and you would hope that people in relationships with you would be as mature as you are.
Yes, right.
But then
It's
I
tough.
think the thing that this guy's having a problem with is that he doesn't want it to end, right? And that conversation is a very much a if it doesn't carry on, then that's it, it's done.
Yeah,
That's
that
true, too.
conversation, isn't it? Yeah. But I think
I have that whole thing too, where I'm like very codependent and based on, I need someone to essentially be like some kind of partner to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't live without that, which is why like this whole time period right now where I'm like still getting back to the idea of, I want to be in a relationship at some point, but I'm not there yet. It's really tough to navigate wanting to stay single, but still having someone to like see every couple days and all that stuff like that. It's really tough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think even though people say they like to be single now, I think we're very much like a two sort of, how to explain it. Like, there's always two sides, right? Like, I like being on my own and stuff like that, but I also know that I'm a better person when I have another person with me. Like, I'm more confident and more myself.
Yeah, we're creatures of companionship.
There
How
you
about
go.
that?
That's what that's.
a good way
Yeah,
to say it.
that's exactly what. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. So I think.
Yeah.
So when he says about he seeks affection through sex, it's very much a similar. That's a part of the whole thing. You feel connected with someone.
Right.
But no, I think right at the beginning, I think you hit it. It's pretty far, and if you're being honest, there's no. You're not a bad guy for carrying it on. You've been 100% from the beginning, and if they get hurt, they get hurt. You know what I mean? But if you're having fun and he's having fun, keep going mile high.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Enjoy yourself. Have some more stories to send to the podcast. You know what I mean? That's what we want. Anyway, we'll crack on. So this listener says, I'm in a job I thought I'd love, but I fucking hate it. I also kissed my team leader on the first night, and we're now as awkward as fuck, as we both are in relationships, and I have a newborn from my previous, so I can't be dealing with drama, and it was a drunken mistake. I gave up a lot to get this role. In fact, I gave up a college degree and my relationship with my baby mother. I'm trying to get past things, thinking it's just teething problems from the new job, but it doesn't seem to improve. I still feel a hostile environment, and I don't seem to be improving in my skills. What do you guys think? Should I pursue or should I move on? Please help. That's a lot for your
This
first.
guy. So this guy sacrificed a relationship with his child's mother to take this job, got into a new relationship, and cheated on that person with someone that works at the job day one.
Yeah.
All right, this guy needs a lot more help than the three of us can provide.
He's come a long way though, because I've got really bad memory, and he started a new email chain, but I recognised his name, so I found his other email.
Yeah.
So he was a cleaner. He originally emailed in because he was a cleaner at his old school, and he could feel all the teachers were looking down on him. So he asked us whether it would be good to like go back to college to improve himself. And I'm sorry to hear about you splitting up with your baby mum, because I'm pretty sure it was something like 16 or 17 years or something they were together. So it was a long time.
It was
Yeah.
a long time, yeah.
Jesus.
So I'm sorry to hear about that. But you went in the deep end after that. Yeah, I mean, you didn't
This guy's
like
a lunatic.
take a break. Yeah, you just went fucking head first.
Holy hell.
The hostile work environment, I think we've explained this before. When you start a new job, people are trying to suss you out, right? Like, they want to know if you're going to come in and you're being lazy or you're not going to do your job and stuff like that. If you put the hard work in, that eases off. The kissing your boss ain't.
That's not easing off, yeah.
No.
That's crazy. I got to see a picture of this boss, though, because I might side with this guy.
It's got to be something, innit?
Yeah, right?
Something.
I want to see the baby mama, the new girlfriend, and the boss, and then we're going to make a choice over what he should do with his life.
And then the baby.
Snog, marry,
looks
avoid.
like.
That's crazy.
The awkwardness, though, I think with like the boss is because no one wants to talk about it, right? Like it happened, it was a drunken mistake, and that's what makes it awkward because no one wants to admit it or talk about it. So even I want to think of a different idea, but saying to her, look, it was a mistake, and can we just sort of like move on? That's how I would deal with it anyway. I'd be like, this is really awkward and I've just started, can we just get over it?
If she's in a relationship as well, or
they're both
he
wanna
is, then she will want to sweep it under the carpet as much as he would probably. So
yeah,
but I don't know. It's hard to give advice on that.
She might not even want to bring it up again. You know what I mean? She might want to pretend it never happened. Here's what I think you should really do, and this is long term. Maybe you should look for a new job so you're not stuck in the situation. But if you are in a job situation where you feel like people don't like you or like you don't feel comfortable yet, I would go the kill 'em with kindness route. I would be like, oh, hey, I stopped at this donut place and I got everyone donuts today. And maybe just do stuff like that once in a while and just be like the guy that, is nice. Like I remember I used to work at this place called Movie Stop. It was much like GameStop, the video game store. And everyone was always bummed out about working on Black Friday, and we had to get there at like 4 a.m, and it was a real pain in the ass. And I had a really good relationship with everybody there, but just to boost the morale, and I wasn't even like a real manager, I was just an employee, I would come in on Black Friday at 4 a.m. with a ton of donuts and a ton of coffee and just be like psyched up, and I'd purposely do that just to try to raise everybody's spirits, and it really seemed like it worked a lot. So if you were trying to do it to make people a little bit warmer to you, I bet it would work too. And it's very simple. 100%. It's really, really simple.
Yeah.
100%.
Or you could just make out with everybody at the job, and that way you're all on the same playing field, and no one has to be awkward. Just like have a day, like a spin the bottle day, and be like, I already made out with the boss, so she's off the table for this, and then everyone makes out, and then no one has to feel weird.
Have another.
So maybe you can even do 7 minutes in heaven. I don't know if you guys have that in England. It's pretty fun.
That's the thing in the cupboard, right? You go in the cupboard.
Oh
first.
Yeah.
It's
funny. You guys say cupboard instead of closet.
Yeah, cupboard.
Yeah, cupboard.
Because cupboard sounds to me that's like two midgets in the going. A cupboard to me is like 2 feet tall.
Isn't that
but I like that. I'd rather play 7 minutes in heaven with a couple midgets. That sounds like fun. I'll kind of hunch down, get in the cupboard with one. That's fun.
Oh, see, I had a different idea of like one on the shoulders, so you're kissing one, and the other one's playing with your balls.
I like that. That's good. There you go.
Yeah, I've got bad back.
Just have a big trench coat on.
Down. Yeah. Yeah. Or like a baby harness. Oh no, that's a bit.
Yes.
I can't go there. Yeah, I think it's hard, right? Especially if you're in the UK. I can't remember if this person is or not. Like, jobs are really hard to come by, right? So, like, if you've done all these things to get into that job, it really depends on, like, the money situation and stuff like that, whether you want to leave. But I would pursue it. Yeah, I mean, I would stick it out and do things like that. Even, like, making cups of tea for people shows a bit more.
Did you say how long they were into the job in the email?
Yeah, you can do that. You could definitely. Right. I like the kill 'em with kindness route. It's worked out. When I was younger, I was way more aggressive and more like confrontational. But now, when there's an issue with somebody, especially if it's someone that's not like super important in my life, I'm like, you know what? Let me just try to really push this into the territory of like a positive thing. And a lot of times that will end up situations a lot easier than actually confronting someone about something.
Yeah.
Or bring the baby in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, bring the baby in, bring the baby mama, bring the new one, and just be like, let's all meet, let's all talk, we'll all kiss and see who's best. May the best man win. You just you blindfold yourself, they all make out with you, and you pick one from just who you think the best is. That way it's fair.
So that one caught me off guard while I was having a drink. I don't even know where we've come with that one. Yeah, stick it out, man. You've given up a lot for it. I'd stick it out. And yeah, you messed up with the boss thing. You know what I mean? Sweep
That's
under
crazy.
The carpet.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Sweep it under the carpet.
Oh, this one's going to be a good one. So this listener says, my mother-in-law is allergic to water. if you can believe it, and it's fucking up the
Jesus.
holiday plans for both families this coming summer. We had a bit of family holiday booked for Italy, as my side are Italian, and our family is beach people. So the whole holiday is based around beach activities, and our beach house we have down on the south coast. My other half is in a panic, thinking her mother may cause controversy, and I really don't know what to do. Can you think of anything I can come up with to help bond on the family over the beach? That's a really fucking rare thing, isn't it? Being allergic to water.
I was going to say, what is up with your fucking lunatic listeners? This is crazy. One of them's like, yeah, I made out with my boss on the first day of my new job, even though I left my wife for my girlfriend. My mom's allergic to water. How is that possible? I will say, though, I think a lot of people go to the beach and never get wet and just enjoy the sand and the sun, though. Isn't that very common?
I don't go in the water. Probably because...
It's been a few... Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, in the UK, when you were younger, you went on beach holidays, but it was always at the cheapest times, so the water would be fucking freezing. So no way would I still do it now, even on a beach holiday, I would never go in the water. I don't care.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of outdoor activities can be done without water. I mean, I don't know if their plan is like, we're going to go kayaking and jet skiing, but a lot of people are hanging out on the beach and not going to the water. And plus, how about this? Why don't you just pull it into that direction? So, think of the things you can do around that don't have to do with the water. So playing volleyball is awesome. That's fun for the beach. How about having a bonfire at night? There's no water involved in the bonfire, Yeah. So I would say make a list of everything that you can do at a beach house or a beach that doesn't have to do with the water, and just try to influence your family towards that stuff, right?
Yeah. So
that's the way to go.
Last week when I was in Portugal, we did a shit ton of sunbathing. That's why my face is so red, because I'm sunburnt, because I've got pasty Irish skin, and I sunbathe even though I cannot tan.
Yeah, you told me that after your wife went to sleep that night, you went to that nude beach.
Yeah, we were hanging out down there. And it went well.
Remember, you met that woman that was allergic to water. You thought that was kind of
odd. So I quickly Googled it. So apparently it's around 1 in every 230 million people are allergic to water.
Fucking
Whoa.
hell.
Yeah.
That's not... How many are in the world? What are there, 9 billion people in the world?
I'm not even gonna. I can't even pronounce what it's called.
There seriously has to be like less than 40 people in the world that have this.
Yeah, it's mental. Now.
Wow, it's mental.
What I was gonna say.
I thought he was lying. To be fair.
Well,
I thought his mother-in-law was lying because she didn't want to go swimming.
She didn't want to go to Italy. It's like, fuck that.
I know. I think you know what. Here's what you do: you throw a big bucket of ice water on her, and we'll figure out if she's telling the truth first.
If she starts sizzling like fucking Dracula in the sun.
It's
then,
like the witches from Wizard of Oz, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
I think he's overreacting. Like, I've got loads of allergies that keep coming up out of the fucking blue, and I don't even want people to know about it, but I deal with them. So if she's willing to go on holiday, and I'm pretty sure being allergic to water is a thing you've got from birth. I can't imagine it suddenly pings up out of nowhere. So she's dealt with it her entire life. If she's going to go on holiday, she's a responsible adult. She's going to deal with it herself. So
yeah,
I mean, what's it
how does she hydrate? How does she?
I was just thinking that exact thing. How does she, like, no matter what you drink, it's got to have water in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
How does she like shower?
She gets dry cleaned. It's just a steamer.
Just sprayed with like dry shampoo.
Yeah, right. I felt like I was reading some sort of sick porn there. Look, as it slips down her throat, she can feel it blistering her skin, leaving a trail of red, itchy welts behind. Later that day,
that's hilarious.
Scorching drops of stuff start falling on the sky. Yeah. Bizarre, actually, right. So I'm trying to find how she drinks.
You learn new things every day, I suppose.
After contact with water, Even her own sweat leaves Rachel with painful, swollen, intensive, itchy rashes that can last for several hours.
Jesus
Christ.
The condition
You're
is
allergic to
like
your own
being
sweat.
stung. Yeah, apparently.
I think I've seen a thing on like a talk show where someone was crying and like their tears came out as glass or something weird like that.
What's that from?
I know
Oh,
some
maybe
of the
no,
chemicals
I'm
we
sorry.
work
I'm
with
getting
at
too,
work.
I think I'm getting two things confused. Someone did claim that, and they found out that it was fake. And the way that they were faking it was they were putting pieces of glass in their tear ducts, which is ridiculous.
Oh,
I can't even imagine it.
Fuck.
But there was someone who was allergic to water on one of the shows, and they said that whenever they teared, their eyes got like super swelled up, and they were like terrified of crying.
That's mental.
I know there's a chemical we work with at work where the guys that are exposed to it more than others, they it's like acidic. So when they have like any sweating or anything like that, they get like rashes across the front of their face.
Damn.
And it's caused by the acid that we're working with at work, which is insane.
Jesus Christ. Holy hell.
So it says, technically the condition isn't actually an allergic reaction at all, since it's caused by an immune reaction to something within the body, rather than an overreaction to something foreign.
That makes sense.
How it works is that water is interacting with the outermost layer of skin, which consists mostly of dead skin cells or an oily substance which keeps skin moist. Contact with water may cause these components to release toxic components, which in turn leads to an immune reaction. So,
interesting.
yeah, it still doesn't tell me how they drink water.
Right?
That's all
Just living on Gatorade and Prime.
Jamie's now asked the question, and I can't leave until I found out the answer.
Yeah, right.
Nah, but that is super strange. I'm not a strong swimmer, so I avoid. I will go in the sea, but I avoid it 95% of the time when I go to a beach, and I'm on holiday all the time. If you start listening to the podcast, Chuck, you will soon find that out. That Dan gets very angry about me being on holiday all the time.
Because I don't go on holiday.
I was waiting for the salty remark. Yeah, I avoid going in the water, and I think saying that you're allergic to water on the beach is a bit of a excuse to me.
You think it's fake?
But then, like I said, people deal with it themselves, right? So he's probably only found out because they're going on holiday, and she's just making them aware. Which is why I said, don't worry about it. It's not it's your own problem, right? If I said, like, I can't have dairy, I can't have eggs. When I go on holiday, I don't go to people, I can't go in there. I just go in there and then I find something I can eat. Yeah, I mean, it's just the way you deal with it. It's life. It's life.
And plus, and I think, like I said, I think there's a bunch of stuff you can do around a beach and a beach house that doesn't have to do with water.
I think most of the beach activities don't involve water, right?
Right, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So it says, to wash, she limits herself to showering once a week. To minimise sweating, she wears light clothing and avoids exercise. Rachel drinks a lot of milk, since the reaction isn't as bad as with water. And that's what it says.
Sounds hellish.
If I showered once a week, I would not be in a marriage right now.
Yeah, but she doesn't do any
Like a
exercise.
hermit living in a... Oh, mate, I would smell so bad.
Did you ever see the woman on TV that's allergic to Wi-Fi signals?
No.
Yeah. She lives in it gives her like massive headaches. So she lives in a house that's completely tinfoiled, like inside, to block. So she has no telephone, she has no TV, no radio. Any sort of signal, radio wave, causes her to be like physically ill and like rashes and makes her head. So she does. I can't remember where I saw that.
That's
just
fun.
sit in the dark. What's she doing in the house?
You're really you're like the king of the tinfoil hat people if you got a tinfoil house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's way better.
That's fucking mental. I could imagine.
That's an easy way to start a cult, isn't it? You are the cult leader.
I'd quite happily make myself sick if I could watch porn or something on my phone. Like that'd be me done. Like
Right? Right. Again, gun under the chin. That's it.
Yeah.
That's me cashing out. Sorry, fellas. I'm done. Right, so this listener emailed in previously because he has a, I think it's a brother-in-law. His Mrs. brother comes around twice a month, and at the minute he was on Scientology, so we told him that it was going to be a fad and he was going to give it up and just to let the idiot carry on with it. Scientology's a fad anyway, you know what I mean? And look, he says, you guys were right. Her brother gave up on the prospect of Scientology within a month and is currently now onto keto. What's keto?
It's a diet where you only eat protein and you can't have any carbs.
It's like you eat a lot of fats and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah, and fats too. That's right.
Completely different to Scientology. How he got into that?
I was going to say keto from Scientology to keto is quite a jump. Like next, he's going to be a zebra. Like, what are we talking about here? This is so odd.
So he says, I've come to the conclusion he just needs a fad to follow.
Yeah,
but when it starts,
he needs a hobby.
But when it starts to cost and the mum and dad
golf.
won't pay, he gives it up. Well, there you go. I just need some help on what to do to deal with the family members of the other half. I feel like I've been very patient, but I'm now feeling like I need to tell them to fuck off. He drives me mad. If my brother was annoying me, I would choke slam him through the table by now. People tend to take the liberty with me because I'm softly spoken, but I don't want people thinking I'm a step over, and also don't want my in-laws to hate me. So he's sort of stuck in the middle there, and he's like, do I knock this fucking guy out and make myself feel better, but then everyone hates me, or do I just put up with it and let him... So the guy actually stays at his house as well. Like, he turns up, and he lives down the road, but he won't go home. He stays at this guy's house, and that's why he's having a...
Because the brother and sister are very close, aren't they?
Yeah.
So wait a minute. So he's trying to figure out a way to get him to leave?
Yeah, basically, to try and deal with him, because he just drives him fucking mad by the sound. Well, wouldn't you? Like, one week he comes around, he's like, oh man, you got to listen to this Scientology documentary that I've got on the telly. And then he's like, oh, now you got to do this diet that I'm doing.
You gotta come up. You gotta get into a worse and more annoying thing and try to bombard him with facts about it, so that he's annoyed with you, right?
Well, like, so
become a preachy vegan, Dan. If you become a preachy vegan,
the keto
Yes.
diet. What's the opposite diet to that? Counteract
I guess
diet with another one.
Yeah, vegan's going to be close,
I
right?
suppose.
yeah.
I can't eat that.
Was it the last episode we were talking about the preachy vegans? Because of Dan's scroll, I call it the scroll of problems that he has with allergic reactions to everything. Dan is essentially a vegan, other than he can eat the meat.
Meat's the only
But
thing
he
that my
can't
body
eat
doesn't
anything
hate.
that's related to it.
Yeah. Can't have pasta, I can't have eggs, I can't have dairy.
Damn.
Yeah.
All you
So
got
Dan's
is porn,
essentially
you're
a
right.
vegan and eats vegan quite a lot. And Dan is not like preaching to me about how many goats have died or how many fucking cows have died and stuff like that. I think a preachy vegan is what you need to become for a month just to counteract the keto, and then he'll be out the door.
And I say grab he was a Scientologist for a little bit, so pick a religion too and go nuts about that. Become a Muslim vegan. And then just don't stop talking about either of those things every second.
Oh, the vegan's one's good because he's sitting there eating his chicken or something, and he's just over the top of him. Oh, bet that chicken. Was hung,
there you go.
Bet he had a bad life before you started eating him. Just fucking bring up pictures of chickens that have got like diseases and be like, oh, I wonder if he had that. Oh.
Yeah.
KFC
your house
chickens
with
with
them.
4 legs and stuff like that.
Yeah, put on those PETA videos on repeat around your house to try to discourage him.
Fuck yeah. Again.
When he comes round next, do a PowerPoint presentation of like what KFC and McDonald's are doing to the world.
Yes.
And then that will upset him.
How they
Yeah,
make the
right.
chicken nuggets. There's no way they're
exactly.
100% chicken, man. They're fucking rubber, those things. Yeah, I think You can have a bit of fun, yeah. If he's driving you mad, then why the hell don't you do it to him? You know what I mean? Entertain yourself while there's dickheads in your fucking house. But
Yeah.
I think as well, I think we said in the last one, when his last email, we said, you got to say to your missus, you need to explain to him how the rules are in my house, giving her the chance to talk to her brother, and then say if it doesn't work and you don't do it, then I'll deal with it, and then just lay the law. You know what I mean? It's your house.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have to come home
Yeah,
and deal with some
right.
fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
But have some fun with it. I like those ideas.
Yeah.
The vegan one's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Brother, a second brother-in-law, isn't it? That's a brother-in-law again, isn't it? That's 2 in one episode.
Is it? What was the other one? I've already forgotten.
The bully. The
Oh,
bully one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, along the same lines, yeah. Just play him at his own game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got lots
Belittle
of...
him as much as possible.
we do a conspiracy theory every Monday. Take one of them and just roll with it.
Yes, yeah, right.
I'm so happy you guys gave me such good... Oh, so we had a listener that said about you want to go travelling. So we said, do it. He ended up in Australia, and he met a girl that he gets on really well with, but her family were a bit racist because he's black. So we said to him, you know, you can't change people like that. Like, if you guys are happy and blah, 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 you know, get on with life and don't worry about it. And he says, I'm
Yeah.
so happy you guys gave me such a backup. My girlfriend made her mum listen to the episode, and they seem to have warmed up to me since. I think it may have been they were more upset I was English than black. But either way, it worked.
That's
we are-
hilarious.
yeah. We're home anyway, and if you guys are free... Oh, this was one... He wanted to know what our bets would be on the Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Are you a boxing fan?
I mean, I appreciate it. I don't really watch actively, but I know Nate Diaz. I know everything going on.
Yeah, fucking horseshit, innit?
It's still not happened though, has it? The Diaz and no.
No, it
Jake
hasn't
Paul's a
happened yet.
fucking clown anyway. Like,
I would hope Diaz would knock the little shit out, but I doubt it.
Well, I've been watching
doubt
like
it.
I watch wrestling more than I watch like combat sports, and Logan Paul came into wrestling.
yes,
He's very
And-
athletic.
He's been killing it. Everyone kind of was like shitting on it at first, but then he did 2 matches, and they've been pretty outrageous.
yeah. Isn't he a champ now?
Yeah,
or
he was
something?
good in that.
Has he not got a belt now? Can't remember.
Oh, I don't know if he has a belt, but I remember seeing him do this thing where he climbed the turnbuckle and he jumped off the turnbuckle to the outside on the announcer's table and did a splash, and he was filming himself, and it was like pretty amazing.
Oh, it says it's going to be held August 5th.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't get fucking cancelled. I think
Logan Paul's the better of the Paul brothers. Jake Paul with the little shit stirrer.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know I got to be honest, I don't know about the the Pauls. I don't know a lot about the YouTube people. There's a lot of YouTube celebrity people now that everyone's like, you don't know this guy and this guy. And I'm like, no, I don't know him.
It is hard to keep up with.
I thought after Jake's last fight against Fury, then he lost. That'd be it done, because he went on his brother's podcast and was basically like, oh, you know, he wasn't even that good. I was sick during my training, and excuse. And you just think, well, that's him done now then. And then here he comes out with fucking, just give it up, man. Just,
Yeah.
Nate Diaz is a big name as well to grab.
I really
Yeah.
hope he fucks him up, just destroys him till he's like, he can't do it anymore. Like, the thought of a
I
fist
don't know.
makes him shit himself. That'd make me happy.
The UFC doesn't transfer over to boxing. That's the problem, and that's why Jake keeps going to fight boxers. That's the problem. No, Jake keeps going to fight UFC fighters. Sorry,
Right.
in
Do you-
boxing.
Do you know who Hasbulla is, Chuck?
No, I don't think so.
Oh man, so he signed up to the UFC. He had like beef with Conor McGregor. He's like 3'5" or something. Actually, look, I've got a little.
Get out of here.
He's a Russian midget.
That's
So
not
he
his
really
eyes.
is
My
doing
girl-
7 minutes in heaven in a cupboard.
My girlfriend put googly eyes on him, but yeah, that's Hasbulla there. That's what he looks like.
Damn, he's
Yeah, yeah.
scary.
Yeah, it's like to scale as well. Look.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was arrested. But he was supposed to be in the UFC because he was going to do like a fight. And it would be so good.
Wow.
What's Conor McGregor? Something like 6 foot, 5'5", something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think McGregor's quite small. I think he's like
Yeah, he's pretty
5'8".
short. He's probably like 5'10" or 5'8".
Yeah.
So he's got a whole like another Hasbulla to the other one. I mean, that's 2 Hasbullas to his one.
Yeah, there's no way the UFC would let him actually fight Hasbro.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they would send him in against some like little small guy.
I would quite happily pay-per-view that. Like that'd be me money down.
Mhm.
I mean, straight away.
McGregor might win a fight then.
Oh, outrageous! Right, that's what emails, man. We really appreciate you. You coming on. Do you want to give you some time to what you've got going on, where people can find you? Let them know.
Yeah. I know this was a lot of fun. I appreciate coming on. Yeah, I do a podcast called Fun Bearable. You can find us at funbearablepod.com or at funbearable on Instagram and Twitter. It's a very fun podcast with myself, a comic named Ray Harrington, and an improv guy named Brad Rohr. They're super funny guys. They make me laugh so much. We have a lot of comics on, a lot of comedians. And, I work with Tell 'em Steve Dave all the time. I work with Tuesdays with Stories all the time, a couple of big comics in New York. And we have a lot of fun on Fun Bearable and on all the projects I do. So definitely check out Fun Bearable. And if you're listening to this and you're in, the U.S. around the East Coast, we're doing a show. We're doing this show, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, Bradley drawn, like I was talking about earlier, with my buddy redraws every scene from a movie, and we do the new narration. We're doing it on Sunday, June 11th in Rhode Island at the Comedy Connection in East Providence, Rhode Island, with Ray Harrington, Liz Moniz, and Brian Bowden doing stand-up. And then the next night we're going to New York. We're doing it in Queens, in Astoria, at Grove 34 with my buddies Andrew Chavone and Matt Wayne doing stand-up to open the show. But going to be great stuff. All the tickets and everything are available at funbearablepod.com, and you can go there to listen to the show. And we do a new episode every Wednesday, audio and video, so it's up on YouTube, and it's on every podcast platform. You can just search for Fun Bearable. It's a lot of fun. I love doing it.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah, we get a lot of American listeners actually email in and stuff like that, so I'm sure. And obviously Brian's on as well, so we have a few people around there. So
yeah.
We definitely have a few guys from New York as well, so hopefully someone turns up.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Gutted I can't go see it because I'd quite happily go watch that.
No, dude, it's so much fun. We've done it with like Jurassic Park. It's really good.
Are you going to record it and put it up, or is it just purely just?
Well, you know what? I'll we do try to record it, and the thing is, we don't want to burn the bit by putting it out there.
Yeah,
but if we do record it, I'll send you a link. I'll send you a private link. You can check it out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure, man. That'd be good.
Anyone from another country, you get a private link. If you're in a different country, you couldn't come to the show. I respect that.
Yeah, I'll be quite happy with that.
Right.
Jamie's favourite
Okay.
bit.
This is my least favourite bit. On that note, we'll end the show there. It's been so long for me and Dan, especially since we've recorded, because I've been away for a couple of weeks. So I feel as though we jumped straight back into it. We had our good guest Chuck on, which has been a long time coming. I hope you all enjoyed the opinions that we've given. Obviously, everything that we've put forward is just opinions, and do not take our word for gospel. Yeah, if you've got any feedback, any content ideas, any questions for us guys for the next episode, send it into twomennohope@gmail.com. And that's it from me.
Awesome. See you Monday, man.
See ya.